This fall, the four networks are introducing 34 new series. Millions of dollars, not to mention careers, are riding on these shows.
1990 probably seemed like it would be just another TV season. But while no one could have known it at the time, some super things were on the horizon.
What's happening to me?
In fact, the 1990s were going to be a big decade for the whole TV business. It would see new technologies, new types of shows, and the birth of some of the biggest hits and franchises the medium would ever know. And also a few misses. We're going to take you through all of the TV-related news of 1990 that's fit to print, because this is Timeline TV.
A damn fine cup of coffee.
And children of the 80s need not apply, because this one is all about 1990. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know in the comments below your favorite TV memories from the 1990s. Now, are you ready to learn what was on the tube the year Driving Miss Daisy won Best Picture?
Yes.
On January 1st, 1990, the UK's ITV aired the pilot of a new show called Mr. Bean. Played by Rowan Atkinson, the character made his debut at the Montreal Comedy Festival Just for Laughs in 1987, and was so well received a series was planned. The pilot was watched by almost 14 million people, launching a series that became a hit in the UK and later in the US. The Fox network launched in 1986, but it would take until January 13, 1990 for one of its stars to be invited to host Saturday Night Live.
Over the past year, both this show and Married with Children have come under attack from certain groups for crossing the boundaries of good taste.
That star was Ed O'Neill, who played shoe salesman Al Bundy on the raunchy sitcom Married with Children.
You must learn to treat all people the same.
Even midgets?
If you're too young to remember a time before YouTube, you're probably more familiar with O'Neill as family patriarch Jay Pritchett on the hit sitcom Modern Family. After being spun off from the Tracy Ullman Show, The Simpsons appeared in a Christmas special which aired in December of 1989. And on January 14, 1990, they finally got their own ongoing series, which kicked off with the episode Bart the Genius. The story, which finds Bart scamming his way into a school for smart kids, would launch the iconic animated sitcom, which is now in its 36th season. February 17th was huge for Aerosmith for two reasons. It was the first time they were ever invited to be musical guests on Saturday Night Live, and it was the night they would appear on the Mike Myers sketch Wayne's World.
Are those really your lips, or are they lip implants like Barbara Hershey had in the movie Beaches?
They mine, man.
Vincent lips!
The appearance was such a hit, Aerosmith would return to headline the Waynestock concert that closes the film Wayne's World 2. On March 24th, Alf, the sitcom about an American family living with an alien life form, aired its fourth season finale.
To Alf, if you ever drop in again, please use the front door. Love the Tanners.
The episode ended on a cliffhanger which found Alf being discovered and surrounded by agents of the U.S. government. But the series was abruptly canceled, leaving audiences with one of TV's most notorious unresolved cliffhangers. Luckily for fans, that cliffhanger would finally be resolved in Project Elf, a TV movie that aired on February 17, 1996.
Well, I'd like a nice, big, fat calico, medium rare.
Are you some kind of sicko?
In the movie, Alf squares off with an evil army colonel and is ultimately made an official ambassador to Earth. Sadly, however, none of the actors who played Alf's family on the original series returned.
WrestleMania, the ultimate challenge, live at Sky Dome in Toronto, Sunday afternoon, April 1 at 4 p.m.
On April 1st, the 6th annual WrestleMania was broadcast on pay-per-view from the Sky Dome in Toronto. The flagship WWF event found heavyweight champ Hulk Hogan squaring off against Intercontinental champ The Ultimate Warrior in a winner-take-all event. That winner would turn out to be The Ultimate Warrior, who walked away with both titles. And on April 8th, TV drama would be changed forever when David Lynch's Twin Peaks debuted on ABC. The serialized mystery show, which followed a murder investigation in the eponymous fictional northwestern town, revolutionized the genre and ran for 2 seasons, followed by the theatrical film Fire Walk With Me, and a series reboot in 2017 that featured most of the original cast. 35 years later, on January 15, 2025, Lynch would pass away at the age of 78. The revered director of films like The Elephant Man, Blue Velvet, and Wild at Heart had been suffering from emphysema, brought on by smoking cigarettes. a habit he claimed to have acquired at just 8 years old. April 15th was a great day for comedy because it's the day In Living Color debuted on Fox. Led by Keenan Ivory Wayans, the mostly African-American sketch comedy series, which featured Damon, Kim, Sean, and Marlon Wayans, would briefly give Saturday Night Live a run for its money.
Who are you? I am the Minister Louis Farrakhan.
While also launching the careers of cast members like David Alan Grier and Jim Carrey. And May 4th would bring the final public appearance of Muppet creator and performer Jim Henson. Henson appeared on the Arsenio Hall show, along with his most iconic character, Kermit the Frog.
Now there's a new member of the band. Can we talk about Clifford? Yes, Clifford. Clifford is our newest member of the band, and he's absolutely great.
The two shared the couch with fellow Muppet performer Kevin Clash and the Muppet Clifford. Tragically, Henson would die from toxic shock syndrome due to a bacterial infection just 2 weeks later. On May 12th, stand-up comic Andrew Dice Clay guest hosted Saturday Night Live. The appearance from the controversial comedian, who played a misogynistic and racist character, drew protests, including from SNL cast members like Nora Dunn, who refused to appear on the broadcast. It also caused the scheduled musical guest, Sinead O'Connor, to back out of the show. Just 2 months later, the Dice Man would shock audiences by showing off his sensitive side on the Arsenio Hall show. While promoting his movie, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, Clay broke down in tears over criticism that his routine was racist and sexist by claiming it was all just a joke.
And anybody that doesn't like it could wipe their ass with whatever they say about me.
The appearance, however, did not do much for his movie, which bombed. May 17th was a tough day for Kelsey Grammer. The Cheers star, known for playing Frasier Crane, was sentenced to 30 days in jail for driving while intoxicated in Van Nuys, California. He would serve just 14 days of that sentence, but later in the year he would be sentenced to 90 days of house arrest in connection with a 1988 charge of possession of cocaine. Then on July 5th, the sitcom Blossom, starring the future Big Bang Theory star Mayim Bialik and teen heartthrob Joey Lawrence, debuted on NBC. The pilot, which featured Bialik as Blossom Russo, a teenager who lived with her father and 2 elder brothers, was well received and would debut as a regular series on January 3rd, 1991. And on July 12th, Alaska got a new doctor when Northern Exposure debuted on CBS. The quirky drama followed Joel Fleischman, a Jewish MD from New York who found himself paying for his medical school debt by working it off in the tiny fictional town of Sicily, located deep in the northern wilderness. The series, which would be showered with critical acclaim and awards, became a major hit and ran 6 seasons. Johnny Depp got his big break in 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street, but he cemented his celebrity status by starring as Officer Tom Hansen on the Fox police procedural 21 Jump Street. The show followed a squad of undercover cops investigating crimes in teen-heavy settings like high schools. It became a major hit, but on July 16th, Depp made his final appearance on the series. He would, however, very briefly reprise the character in the 2012 21 Jump Street movie.
You want to wear a fake nose on your head for like months on end?
Worst things in the world.
Roseanne Barr is famous for a lot of things, but her singing voice isn't one of them. That's why it struck many as a strange choice when she was invited to sing the national anthem at the Reds-Padres game of July 25th. Barr's screeching rendition, which ended with her spitting on the pitcher's mound, drew swift reactions from the crowd. And surprising no one, she was subsequently vilified for it in the press.
Several of the Padres said they thought her performance was a complete disgrace.
In 1990, rapper Will Smith was in trouble with the IRS and desperately needed money. To right the ship, he decided to sign on to play the title character in the NBC sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
These are my partners in the law firm of Firth, Wind & Meyer.
Hey, Earth, Wind & Fire, when's your next album coming out?
The show debuted on September 10th, and despite the fact he had no prior acting experience, it became a massive hit. The series would run 6 seasons, and Smith would go on to star in a series of hit movies. And just 3 days later, on September 13th, Law & Order debuted on NBC. The ripped-from-the-headlines stories would quickly make the show TV's definitive police procedural.
You see a guy with a birthmark on his face?
The name of the game is Finding Faith. Silk is a name, and he's to blame.
Silky.
The series, now in its 26th season, became one of the biggest franchises in history. with no less than 6 separate spin-offs. When it comes to documentaries, Ken Burns is about as legendary as they come. And while his career started way back in 1981, his big break came on September 23rd, when his 11-hour miniseries, The Civil War, debuted on PBS. Among other things, the groundbreaking series would give the world its first look at the Ken Burns effect, a way of panning and zooming the camera over still images that came to dominate the documentary filmmaking of the era. Have you ever been watching a police procedural and wished it had musical numbers in it? Well, if so, you may have loved Cop Rock. Debuting on ABC on September 24th, the series, produced by LA Law's Stephen Bochco, turned the LAPD into a musical performance troupe worthy of Broadway.
I'm the baby merchant, tots are us.
He's guilty, Judge, he's guilty. You could see it in his eyes.
If you don't hook people in 30 seconds, you know you're dead in the water.
The show was a critical and commercial failure and was quickly canceled. Then, on October 4th, Fox changed teen drama television forever when it broadcast the debut of Beverly Hills 90210. In addition to spawning a slew of spin-offs, the trend-setting teen soap would run 10 seasons and launch the careers of Jason Priestley, Shannon Doherty, Jenny Garth, Brian Austin Green, Tori Spelling, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, and Luke Perry. Hot off the success of the film Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Pee-wee's Playhouse debuted in 1986 and became a huge hit. But by 1990, star Paul Reubens felt burnt out playing the character and informed CBS he would be ending the series to take a sabbatical. The final episode aired November 17th, just 8 months before Reubens would be arrested for indecently exposing himself while watching a film at a porno theater in Florida. And on November 18th, ABC would air the first episode of a 2-part adaptation of Stephen King's It. The Emmy-winning miniseries would star well-known actors like John Ritter and Harry Anderson, and would feature Tim Curry as Pennywise the Clown. Despite the acclaim the TV version received, Hollywood would return to the well in 2017, when it released the first half of a 2-part theatrical film series based once again on King's It novel. Directed by Andy Muschietti, the film would feature Finn Wolfhard, Jaden Martell, and Sophia Lillis. And this time, Pennywise's clown shoes would be filled by Bill Skarsgård. And finally, on November 26th, Fox broadcast the first ever Billboard Music Awards. Sponsored by the music industry publication Billboard, the awards differed from similar shows like the Grammy Awards because they were given out based on album and song sales, radio airplay, and touring success, rather than being based on a vote. They continue to be awarded every year to this very day. So what do you think? What was your fondest TV memory of 1990? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other timeline videos.